Exciting! Neo Geo! Max 330メガの劇的体験 Neo Geo System SNK.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric Entertaining Series Neo Nostalgia, where I take a look at some of my favorite Neo Geo AES and MVS games of all time. And today we have one of the most colorful games on the platform, and that is Waku Waku 7. It is a versus fighting game, and while it might not be the best fighting game ever made for the system, it is one that brings me the most joy when I play, and that's why we're going to be talking about it. And this intro is just absolutely wild, and I love it for that. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But trust me when I say it was hard to pare the series down to my favorite Neo Geo picks. And there's a lot of games I would have loved to talk about that I've removed from the playlist, and maybe I'll add in the back if this series does well. Now right off the top, it's called Waku Waku 7 for a reason, and that's because in the arcade mode you have a choice of 7 characters. You can play as 2 others in versus or with a unibios, but Marakun here is my guy, and I'm going to have to play as him. And right off the top, this game is just doing everything for me that I love on the Neo Geo. The sprite work, the animation, the colorful nature, the zooming screen. This to me screams late generation Neo Geo game, and I think it is one of the best looking games on the system. But I am definitely prone to liking these really colorful poppy colors and those pastels. And you'll see here Maroon here fighting Tank Z. It's just a fun and weird match. You have a giant bunny cat, and I'm pretty sure that's what he's made out of, half cat and half bunny, fighting a dog in a police tank. And that's just, I mean, it doesn't need to make sense, and it doesn't make sense, but I love it because it's just doing everything it wants to do with no consideration as to what they think the player should actually interpret it as. And this was made by Sunsoft, and they went on to make Astro Superstars, and that is a very similar game that I'll talk about in a little bit. But again, it's just a ton of fun. Now mechanically, it's definitely not the deepest fighting system in the world. There's only a few specials. You have your power meter down there and you can build up stock in it, but the moveset isn't that deep. But the great thing about this is it's definitely a pick up and play fighting game. If you've never played fighting games before, if you're not great at them, you can pick up a Waku Waku 7 and you can play pretty well right off the top and only get better from there, and I love it for that. And just moving on to another stage here and another character, each character has so much personality and such a different way to play that it's not the worst thing in the world that you're just limited to 7 characters. Now it would have been great to have a deeper roster, but at least none of the characters play or feel very similar to each other, so you really can pick out a main and maybe a secondary and see how that plays out. Something like Tank Z here is a little bit like Maroon. He's a bigger character, moves a little bit heavier, but has a lot more range in the attacks, and that's what this game is all about. You can get in close and fight your opponent, but you can also really knock them across the screen, try to stay away from them, and use those heavy hits to kind of manage your screen space. And that's just a ton of fun no matter who you pick. Arena here, definitely a fast character, kind of a traditional Street Fighter style fighting, kind of mechanic going on there. But this is the type of game, every time I play it, it makes me smile. It makes me happy. It's got a great soundtrack, it's got a great graphical style, and it's a ton of fun to play. And if you get a second player in the mix as well, you're going to have even more fun, because that's what fighting games are all about. Sure, playing against the CPU is decent for training, but when you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, you want that second player. And I just love this background, all of that depth with the mansion. Some backgrounds have so much color in them, and some of them are a little bit more subdued, and every once in a while something just weird is going to happen here. You're going to see the screen is going to pan up to the sky and something is going to come flying out, and that is Bonus Kun. He's just one big punching bag that you can fight as, and how much fun is that? But the other thing I love about this game is the soundtrack is absolutely spectacular. It's got some of the best music on the Neo Geo, I think, outside of something like Matra Melee. So go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds and I'll come back and tell you more why Waku Waku 7 is one of my favorite Neo Geo games of all time. But enjoy. Yeah, just a perfect soundtrack, and that's what you expect out of a game that's this colorful and this much fun. The musicians at Sunsoft did a great job with it. Now, if you do want to own an original copy of Waku Waku 7 on the AES, I would definitely bring your wallet. Depending on what your mortgage or rent payment is, it's going to take one, if not two of those payments to be able to acquire an original cart. And trust me, you don't just want to buy it from anybody, because this is a game that's got a lot of conversions out there, and it is one that I do not have in my Neo Geo collection. I'd love to add it one day, but even now I'm not stupid enough to pay for it. But you'll see here in between rounds as well, the color changes and it becomes sunset, and you get that nice warm color in the background. They definitely give you a lot to look at, and Amirun there just knocked him into next Sunday with that punch. And it's just a ton of fun to play this game. I love it. It's colorful, it's unique, and it's what I love about the Neo Geo, because it's not just King of Fighters games and Fatal Fury games. There's so many other fighting games on the platform that are spectacular as well. And trust me, if I already haven't talked about Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, you'll be seeing it soon. But if you like Waku Waku 7, don't forget to check out Astra Superstars. I would say it's the lesser of the two games, but it has a lot of the same vibes going on. And if you're looking for something like Waku Waku 7, Astra Superstars is going to make you very, very happy when you play it. And that's what I keep coming back with this game, that happy factor. Just like playing something like Matra Melee, I am always smiling when I play this game. Now, I love playing Mark of the Wolves, I love playing all the King of Fighters games. I enjoy them, and graphically they are quite good. But something like this cat is eating a fish bone, hanging in the air, and then sitting on the guy's shoulder while he's got the pack of smokes in his hat underneath that rope there. It's just charming, and I love that about these type of games. They are filled in every single inch of the screen with detail that you want to stop and look at, except there's actually a fight going on around you. And that's what I love about this game so much, is that it has personality and charm for days, and so much more than some of the bigger, more well-loved fighting games on the Neo Geo. And I'm sure I'm going to get some comments down below fighting me on that, and that's fine. I always say on the channel, if you're enjoying playing something, that means the game is good to you. There might be something else out there that's technically better, but if you don't enjoy it as much, this is the better game to you. And I love the mirror match as well, with all those little like gooey bunny lumps hanging out in the background. I don't know what they are, but it's fun to kind of think about it. Maybe they're ferrets, maybe they're chickens, maybe they're rabbits or hamsters. Doesn't matter, but I love watching them bounce around as that waterfall comes back from the temple in the background. There's just so much to look at and so much to see. You can't help but love this game. The only thing I wish that Waku Waku 7 did a little bit more of is make the fighting mechanic a little bit deeper, and maybe include a couple more characters. Maybe Waku Waku 11 would have been a better title and reality for the game. Now, if you don't want to play this on the Neo Geo, you can play it on the Sega Saturn. It's a decent port, and it's also on a Sunsoft collection on the PlayStation 2, but it's got some weird soundtrack things going on. The Neo Geo original is still the way to play. You can pop a flash cart in your AES or MVS and check it out that way. You can emulate it, or you can do what I'm doing right now. I'm playing it on the MiSTer FPGA Neo Geo core. But however you play this game, you have to play it because it is just so much fun. It brings a smile to my face, and I love this cutscene here. So go ahead and listen for more soundtrack for like 45 seconds, and I'll come back, close the video out, tell you why this game is just a 10 out of 10 in my book. Enjoy again. Great music for the soundtrack, and here comes the final boss in the game. That is Fernandez. What is Fernandez? I don't know. It's a giant black void. Maybe he's dark matter, maybe he's an angry bowling ball, maybe he's a bat that had a little bit too much food at the local buffet. It doesn't matter. It's just so much fun that both your character and Fernandez are massive, and you have this Godzilla Kaiju battle scale final boss battle going on. That character sprite, I just love it. It's so much fun, and even though there's not a ton of frames of animation because he is just one big black orb, and maybe they did that to make it a little bit easier to finish the game, it just makes me happy to see this. And as the fight goes on, we're in the nighttime here with all those neon signs lighting up in the background. It's just great, and that's what I keep coming back to with this game. If you want to have a fun time, if you want to play something colorful, if you want to check something out that's not going to show up on every list of best Neo Geo fighting games of all time, you definitely owe it to yourself to play Waku Waku 7, because if you don't walk away with a smile on your face, I guarantee you your money back unless you buy the AES copy, and then you were a fool because I told you not to. And each character gets their own final screen as well with a little bit of story. I am playing the Japanese version just because I kind of like doing that. I don't really care about the story, but if you want it in English, you know how to play it. And Maravun here gives his boy back to this fairy. Do not know why. I've never actually played this in English, and I kind of just leave it in Japanese because I like that little bit of mystery going on in the background. But yeah, leave me a comment down below. Have you ever played Waku Waku 7? And if so, what do you think? And if you've never played it before, after seeing this video, I hope you play it and report back what you think the game is all about and how you enjoyed it. And the kid here has been reunited with his parents. But I will have more Neo Geo videos next week, and I'll have videos throughout the week as well. But take my word for it. If you've never played Waku Waku 7, if you've heard it's only a decent game, give it a try. I think you're going to find that it is much better than people give it credit for. And if you don't like it, what does it matter? It took you 20 minutes to play. Try that. I'll see you guys next time, but play this game. Bye bye.